Hi, this is Volleyball Explained Podcast. We are back with the Italian League podcast with Nicola here. In principle, Ronnie should have been here too. My traditional co-host in the last month because Nicola was unfortunately busy. But now, long time no see you. Nicola is here. Hi, Nicola. How are you?
Hi, pretty fine, thanks. Good to be
Uh,
back talking about
you're
volleyball.
Yes, of course, but we all know that you are not the best, you're not the biggest fan of VNL. Then we had the European Championship Olympic qualifier. Unfortunately, we were not able to talk with you about this. But now a traditional and very lovely topic about Italian volleyball is back. Actually, the championship, in principle, usually we do this podcast a little bit earlier, but now we are live for the very first time in this format about Serie Uno. Let's use a little bit Italian. The matches start tomorrow, but we are going to go through all the teams with the rosters, with the changes, with the transfers, with players who left the team, players who joined the team. We'll be talking about predictions. That's pretty normal. We do it each year with not very good, in my estimation, of course, success. And of course, as we are live, all people, we are very grateful for you watching us now. You can write your comments. You can do it in how many languages? You can do it in Bulgarian if you want. You can do it in Italian. When Ronnie comes, you can do it also in Spanish, and of course, you can do it also in English. So you have for now three, probably a little bit later, four languages to choose from in order to comment about the Italian league and what is going to happen from tomorrow. As Trentino, the team of Nicola, are the reigning champions, I would suggest for us to start from there. That's, I would say, pretty normal to start with the champions. So I'm giving you the floor, and I did some potential rosters where you believe there could be a change. There could be something that you are on another opinion than mine. Of course, you can always mention it. So let's start with Trento. What do you think here? Do you think this will be the starting squad? Of course, we can talk also about potential, not potential, but substitutes, etc.
Yeah, that's definitely the starting lineup as is been thought by the general manager and the new coach, Fabio Soli. We can see there that one big piece is missing from last season, the captain and the MVP of the 2022-2023 Superlega, Matej Kaczynski, that, as we know, just left the team to join in Milano. And his place has been taken by Ryklicki, which hasn't played a lot last season due to some injuries. But in the new idea of the new coach Soli, which also has a history of relying on strong opposites, Ryklicki will have a key role in the team. In the middle, I will see also Lisinat missing, and in my opinion, that will hurt a little bit more than the absence of Matej, because in my opinion, if we take out Simon of the discussion, Lisinat is probably the best middle blocker the Superlega had in the past 4 or 5 years. And Kozamernik has already been there in Trento, already knows the environment, already knows the club, already played with Bertoli, so they already have a little bit of a connection. But he will have a very, very difficult role to play, and not to feel, and to let the other feel the absence of Lisinat. I'm pretty thrilled because we all know that in sport, winning is difficult, repeating is even more difficult. If you think in the last 17 seasons in Italy, the only team who won back-to-back title was Lube 2 years ago. Otherwise, there have always been a new champions each year. Not even the mighty Trento of Raido Stoichev ever won 2 titles in a row. So I think that it will be very difficult for Trento to repeat the run of last year. Even if we've seen them every season basically, but most specifically last year, it matters the most the form during the playoff. We've seen that Perugia did and how they fell apart in the playoff after the exceptional regular season they played. New coach, new story. Let's see if this season probably the bench will be used a little more, because one of the how can I say defects of Lorenzetti was not to call player out of the bench so often. Let's see. I think that both Lavia and Micheletto will need a little bit of rest at the beginning of the season because they spent the entire summer with Italy. So maybe Magalini will have a lot of time on the court. But I'm pretty confident that this team, as usual, will fight for the top 4 and the semi-final in each competition we will see this year.
Yeah, in my opinion, the substitutes will be probably a problem if the starting 6-7 is not working pretty well. Here the problem is that okay, let's rephrase whether players like Cavuto and Magalini and Baer will be good enough to change. We have Ronnie also in the podcast just to make a little bit of a change. Ronnie, just to make this. No, you're not. Okay. Ronnie out there? You're not there probably, but anyway, my idea is that for me, it will be significantly okay, if not significantly, but for sure weakened by the lack of Matej Kazinski. That's for sure. Lisinac also, the lack of Lisinac will also help. And in this regard, I don't see a possibility for Trento repeating their success from the last year. But yeah, anyway, let's see. Of course, the heart of the team is theirs: Bertoli, Micheletto, Lavia, Laurenzano, and Podrascanin. Even though Podrascanin is a little bit, probably very experienced player, but sometimes in some way, I believe that there could have a bigger role to play than the last season. Even though I think he played a lot of matches due to injuries of listeners, if I remember properly.
Yeah, especially in the last in the finals. But one thing is to play consistently for 5-6 matches, like the end of playoff for there. The other thing is to show up constantly during the season. We will see. There's one thing that we have to mention about Trento. Just considering that from this season ahead, Riklinski will have Italian citizenship. The only foreign players for Trento are the 3 middle blockers. So basically, Soli could play whoever he wants in the rest of the position on the court without breaking the rules. So having at least 3 Italians always on court.
Yeah, and that's very important point. That's my last words before going to Ronnie. There's a very, very important point because in some teams this is an issue. So we will see in Lube and Verona, probably in other teams. Ronnie, what do you think about this thing?
Hello, guys. Good evening. I am a little bit late, but I'm here finally. Well, another season of the Serie A is is upon us. Actually, less than 24 hours for the kickoff. And yeah, talking about Trento, is one of the favorites team to reach at least the semifinal, and it will be no surprise if they don't if they do it. I mean, you have the Lisinak's departure, as you guys mentioned it, but bring Kosamerlik, which I think is a good add-on. Knowing that Kosamerlik is at a good point on his career, which is where he's more mature now, and have the experience to be playing in the Poland Championship, which for no means reason one of the best. And yeah, the rest of the team is the same. Of course, you have Srilishki becoming Italian citizen and Italian player. I believe this will somehow be a test for him, no, before the last year of the Olympic cycle. Maybe he can win a spot in the national team, and this is, all good, all things have come in the right moment, So let's see. Yeah, Micheleto and Lavia will have to recover fast from the long season. I I believe, seriously talking, that Italy didn't qualify for the Olympics because the team was already tired from all the competition and all the traveling. But at the end of the day, they are more than in via ranking, so it doesn't matter for them. Sbertoli, one more year to prove why he is one of the best. And yeah, the rest of the team, as you guys mentioned, will not have that problem with the foreigner players, which is a blessing in this league, with all the foreigner talent that they have. So yeah, for me, Trentino is top three, and let's see what's going to happen if they start low, if they start normal. But yeah, good old Trentino. Never look never look bad.
My suggestion is to carry on with Luba and Ronnie carrying on talking. And here I have a question.
Yeah. Damn.
This is the squad, but not exactly. I mean, it's not that certain who will play. What is your opinion on that?
Well, Lube Civitanova comes into the 23-24 Serie A, Pallavolo League, whatever, with a huge problem, the foreigner problem, because they are too stacked of foreigner talent, and they only have like Saisev, let's say, like good, let's say, good to medium quality player in the outside hitter position, because you know what Botolo is. Botolo is like the fourth. At the same time, is involved romantically with the general manager daughter. It's complicated for him to play in this team. So I believe that it will be Saisev and Jant in theory, and the first substitution will be Alexander Nikolov, of course. Then you don't have an Italian opposite, because Lagunsija is like some kind of the new kid on the block that everybody want to see. And yeah, my only question is the Blengini must to try to see if he can put Diamantini, of course, with Ansani and give more room, because that was the thing that happened last year. Chinese didn't play some games because of the foreigner quota. So the rest of the thing remains the same. It's a luxury, in my opinion, to have in the bench Nicolo and Botolo, and maybe Diamantini, but after that, maybe you have Jacob Tele, which is a newcomer from the Hawaii University. But I think this Lube Civitanova team is better than the previous year because you have Lagoncilla coming from a good season in Modena. And last year you had Gabi Garcia, which wasn't that good that people thought, and he departed already. So yeah, for me, Lube looks better. Let's see if Jant can hold the entire season because he have been with injury problems, and if Nicolo can improve in reception. That's my only question. Also, remember that Nicolo can play also opposite, so it's a very compact team. Let's see in theory if we can see that on court, because you remember last year Piacenza, which at the end of the day was a completely mess, and they got the Coppa Italia, but that's it. As Italians says, better a trophy than nothing, something like that. Well, yeah, that's Lube Civitanova for me.
Yeah, for me, the team looks better. If you can compare it to Trento, Trento looks a little bit weakened. Lube looks a little bit better, but the question mark here for me is the reception, because Zaitsev, we know he can receive, but he's not a traditional opposite. We know the problems of Alex Nikolov with the reception. Jant is also not the best receiver, so they don't have a player who is, let's see, this is the player who can receive, and that's for sure. What do you think, Nicola?
Yeah, definitely. We've seen last year that it was one of the weaknesses that Trent exploited during the final games of the playoffs, playing reception, serving hard, and disrupt the gameplay of Lube. So I hope that the players improve themselves, because the names are basically the same. I will not have so much doubt about Lagumja, because the guy is his fourth year in Italy, fourth different team, but in every team he played, he basically delivered when served. Let's not forget that Anzani is recovering from an injury, let's call it that, from some healthy problems. So I don't know whether it will be in the starting lineup tomorrow, or it will be Diamantini or any other solution, but it will probably be in the middle, surely, of the rest of the season.
Okay, let's go to the next team then. And my suggestion is to go to Perugia. Because Perugia was the favorite last year, and surely they are the favorite this year. But I have some doubts about the opposite position. Not because I don't have any trust in Herrera or in
actually sorry about that. Yeah. This is actually bad. Bentara will be the starter, according to Mr. What is the name of that dude that looks suspicious? Gino Chirsi told everyone during the VNL that Bentara will be the starting opposite, which for me was very unprofessional at that time, because Bentara never had a foot on Italy. You know, he doesn't know the Italian volleyball. Yes, he's taller than Herrera, but I mean, you have to respect the people who remains, and he didn't do that. I think tomorrow we will see Bentara, because he spent the most part of the preseason with the team. But let's see. Continue. Sorry.
For the people who don't know, Wassim Bentara is a Tunisian international player, the best Tunisian player. But the other part of the team is actually the same. There are Gianelli, Leon, Soler, Rosso, Flavio, Semeniuk, Coachi, Herrera, Oleg Putnitsky is the best substitute probably in the whole league. The best seventh or eighth player, I don't know how to count it. But if there is the weak place, this should be the opposite position, because we told you my respect, but neither Bentara or Herrera are the best opposites in the world, or they are not even in the top 5, probably not even in the top 10.
Yeah, Nicola.
Yeah, I mean, in Lorenzetti style of playing, the opposite doesn't actually need to be a star. I mean, Lorenzetti had very good opposite in the past few years, like Mattei, who played an opposite Nimir before him, but for a year he had Vettori as an opposite and still managed somehow to line up a pretty solid gameplay during the season, both in Modena and in Trento. The key point that you mentioned, Bogdan, is that maybe for the first season in the past 15 years, Perugia didn't change a lot in his starting lineup. Basically, it's the same team as last year, a part of Bentara, but we have Giannelli, who has 1 year more of experience with this team. You have the same outside hitters the last year. You have the same trio in the middle. You have Kolachev is there since forever, basically. So for me, this is the team.
Even the second setter is Diego Schroperet is the same.
Yeah, I mean, this is the team that has to win the Scudetto. They have to bounce back from the depressing ending of the last season. They didn't change a lot in the starting 6 or 7, or whatever you want to call it. They didn't participate in the European competition. That's very important, because it would mean that they will have a lot of time to train. They don't have to travel all around Europe. They will only participate in that farce of the Club World Cup in India at some point of the season. So basically, they could focus on just the domestic league and the domestic cup. Lorenzetti could have an instant impact on the team, bring some fresh air, maybe cool down some, how can I say, difficulties that were last year between the players and Anastasi. And in my opinion, this must be Wilfredo Leon's years, because let's be clear, it is his 6th season in Perugia. So far, they basically won nothing. Some Coppa Italia, some Super Cup, some silverware, but about Champions League and Scudetto, they didn't win it. And Leon just ended a summer where he won with Poland, so maybe get back this, how can I say, winning style that he's always had back in Kazan, and he has to move it from the Polish national team to Perugia. So I will be very, very disappointed if you don't see Perugia. I don't see lifting the trophy, but at least in the final of every competition, the Super Cup, the Coppa Italia, and then the Scudetto. I don't even counting the FIVB World Club World Championship, which is an amateur tournament.
Ronnie, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, like Nicola said, this is it for Wilfredo Leon, because I think this is the last year of contract that Wilfredo Leon will have. He ends in 2024, because the 2025 deal was optional, it wasn't guaranteed, and I think because of the wage Wilfredo Leon is taking from Gino Chirsi, the Perugia will opt out that contract, and if he want to stay in Perugia, we'll have to renegotiate all the things. But the truth is, like Nicola said, Leon, he is coming from a good season, national team wise. he become with Poland European Championship, BNL Championship, qualify for the Olympics for the second time. Um, I will believe I want to believe that he will have a slow start because having the experience of the last year season, there is no need for Perugia to rush things because, as you mentioned, they withdraw of the CCAV Cup. They don't have to play in Europe. So yeah, uh, game after game, and when the time comes, fight for the for the best title. I believe they have pretty good chances to win the Super Cup at the end of this month. I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe yeah,
yeah.
at the end of this month, and that will be the first test of Lorenzetti. We all know how Gino Circi like to mess with the team during the season, getting into the coach job. He some kind he thinks from himself like some kind of Dr. Jerry Boss, but low quality Jerry Boss, you know. So let's see what's gonna happen with this team. I want to see um, the other part of the oxide hitter position, Semeniuk, which was a pretty interrogation point last season because he didn't bring that Saxa volleyball that he had before coming to Perugia. And the middle blockers, let's see if Russo recovers from his foot injury or ankle injury, sorry. And Flavio, I think the weakest part of this thing is the middle. Soleil is there because he is Italian, but Flavio is in. I don't know. I think they could have invested better in that position, but I also know that with Leon taking annually 1.5 million, it's hard. It's hard for them. Another season for Janelli to prove himself. He's not a, what can I say? He's not a bust. Let's see if he finally wins uh, an Scudetto because come on, last year your former team won, so it must be hard for him to see that, but it is what it is. I think Bentara will be a good addition. Most people don't know this, but his mother is Polish, and he will try to become a Polish player after Wilfredo Leon departure. So because you cannot have to not naturalized player in your national team playing at the same time or even in the same team. So yeah, that's for the future. But for me, Perugia is top two. I think maybe Lube, maybe Piacenza, maybe Trentino can be the second best. But let's see. For me, they have like every year huge chances to win it all or fail like how they always do. So yeah.
Okay, let's go to the last semifinalist from the last season, and this is the team of Milano. And Milano is for sure better than last year. Even though they were very impressive, they were the team to not. That's my mistake, of course. It's not the last semifinalist because Perugia was not a semifinalist. That's a
Piacenza.
nice point to make. Yeah, it's Piacenza. But with Matej Kaziski in the team, that's an interesting point. By the way, the libero Damiano Catania is a very talented libero, but I believe he should play for another team. And we are going to talk about this team a little bit later because he has the same name. Uh, from that point of view. But they have Petar Derlic as the opposite. But what do you think about the fact that Matej is going to a team where he's going to play in his original position?
Matej is a generational talent, probably one of the best players of the past 30 years. He can play wherever he wants. And is the team that has to adapt to him, not him adapting to the team.
Yeah.
So he has been playing as an opposite for the past 2 years. Now, actually, for last years, because 2 seasons ago, Lavia was playing mostly as an opposite in Trento. So he basically get back to his former position after 1 year. He will be a more complete player if it's possible to even be more complete than it was before. And we will have no problem siding with Porro. So I'm expecting, as usual, great things from him.
My point here is that Milano are not just good in terms of their starting lineup, because we see Porro, Ishikawa, Loser, Piano, Matej, Derlic, and Catania. But let's have a look at the substitutes too, because as an outside hitter, reserve they have Osnil Mergarejo. I believe Mergarejo is a very good player, and to be in a substitute it's a diamond in the bench. They have also Marco Vitelli. Marco Vitelli could play very surely also a starter, a regular starter for almost any team in the league. As the opposite position substitutes, they have Ferrer Regers, who is a very talented, only 20 years of age, opposite from Belgium. He played great, really very good Olympic qualifier. They were on the verge of qualifying for Paris. Nobody expected that. Bulgaria stopped them in the last match, in the tiebreak of the last match. So it's really a very good team with a depth in it, not just the regular starters, which could be these players. Probably there could be some changes, but Milano is for me for sure a favorite for top 4. Why not for something more? Ronnie, what do you think?
Yeah, like you mentioned, having Melgarejo on the bench is a luxury. We also have that in Cuba national team. But Melgarejo was one of the key players, let's say key to Milano playoff success last year. I'm sure that he doesn't like to be on the bench, but you cannot deny the talent of Matej Kaczynski, and Ishikawa is your, let's say, passing guy. So it will be an overwhelming outcome if Melgarejo ends being a regular starter, because Matej is not Milad Evadipur, So, but I also believe that Matej Kaczynski will not play all the games.
Of course.
So because of his age, especially those in CBB Cup. Yeah, that's Melgarejo moment to shine and see how far he can go. On the other position, you mentioned Vitelli. Of course, he had a chance, a shot, let's say, this summer with the Georgia, the national team. I think it was the first week of BNL. He did good, pretty decent, despite his. It's something that I don't like about Vitelli. He can be Simone in one game and then go to Berreta the second the game after. And in this young generation player have that problem, most of them, which is not other than consistency. So let's say Loser have pretty good curriculum. and Piano. Uh, if Piazza will make a move for Vitelli, must be for Piano, of course. And you mentioned the opposite position with Regers, Dirlik. I mean, let's see how this goes because I don't see we will see that much from Regers this season. Usually, the new players in Serie A were that are so young doesn't receive too much opportunities. Um, I'd rather have Kasiski becoming opposite over Dirlik than Regers, but who knows? Maybe the kid show off, and when the opportunity presents, and that's gonna be a interesting thing to see because, as you mentioned, Belgium out of nowhere was close to to be in the next year Olympic, which was a little bit unfair for teams who have spent most of the Olympic cycle fighting in BNL and other and those other stuff. I think that's the reason why Bulgaria try harder in that match. I want to believe that they at some point thought, you know what, you cannot go to the Olympics, man, because you didn't do nothing in the entire quad. So they rather had Canada, which is another lucky team, to be there than the Belgians, and it was one of the important history this summer. Having Belgium trying to go to the Olympics, they were close. Zanini, I think, was the coach. Another failure for him. Well, what can I say? This dude, whatever club he goes, or team he goes, seems to be the he is so close, but at the same time so far. So yeah, but well, let's see what happened with Powerball in Milano. They are the favorites for me to win the CBB Cup. Let's see if another Polish team doesn't get in their way. But yeah, they had some friendlies before the season start. They comfortably beat the other team of let's say Milano region, Monza, 3-0. So yeah, it's good for Piazza to have a big closet to pick and put players. So good for him this season. Let's see if they have a leather stressful, one. Of course, Super Cup. Milano will be playing the Super Cup this year, so let's see how that goes. No, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Piacenza is next, and Piacenza.
No. Milano will not play the Super Cup. Piacenza, Lube, Trento, Perugia are the semi-final.
Piacenza.
Lube, Piacenza as a Coppa Italia winner.
Cup winner.
As Lube as finalist, Trento as a finalist of Coppa Italia and Champions of Italy, and Perugia as the best qualified team in the regular season.
Well, they were so close.
Okay. Now we have Piacenza, and Piacenza are also a team which doesn't have a lot of changes. I believe Ricci is a change in the team, but the other players are the same. Do you think that they can perform better than last season, even though of course they won the cup, but the cup is always this prize which is we like to have it, but we would love not to have it if we can have the other one.
In my opinion, the 2 days of the Coppa Italia's Final Four of Piacenza has probably been the most dominant days of the Italian volleyball in last season. I mean, they were untouchable. They crushed Trento and Perugia, who weren't the only two teams who didn't win, who didn't lose in straight set to the moment. They it vanished them from the court, and that's what they're aiming for: having more consistency when it matters, and try to do it also in the playoff. Last year in the playoff, they get to game 5 of the semifinals against Trento, so they were not that far from competing for the title. They just couldn't get over a team that was better in game 5. As you said, the only addiction that could be in the starting lineup is Fabio Ricci, that last year didn't exactly have a good season in Siena, and probably this year will be either the starters or the first change with Kaneski. I don't even want to think that Simon will miss some action, but maybe those games before or after the Champions League, because Piacenza will be in the Champions League this season. So, in my opinion, everything will be decided by how well the outside hitter will perform when it matters. Romano is tired. Is the only player in the Italian national team who has been there since day one of the VNL till the last game of the Olympic tournament. It's 4 months in a row playing for the national team. So I think that maybe at the beginning of the season we'll have some difficulties, but it's shown, in my opinion, that it could be the starting opposite of a top team in Italy. So the point for me will be how good Lucarelli and Leal will perform in the playoffs.
And here we shall also check the fact that substitutes are also not, they don't differ that much. We have Recine, Gironi from last season. Also, they have a new an attacker, not I believe Robert Andringa played a libero in the Dutch national team, so probably he will be used for reception in the team, I think.
Yeah. Just to mention that there's a new coach also in Piacenza, so there's not Botti anymore, and let's see whether Anastasi will have how can I say, something to say about his last season in Perugia, where it appears that everything that went wrong was his fault. So let's see how we will be managing it in Piacenza.
But then, like you mentioned, the key will be if everyone is healthy, because we are getting to the point that Simon is no longer a kid, Leal is no longer a kid with knee problems, and Lucarelli, in the recent years, after his Achilles tendon injury, seems to have been like slowly fading. He of course can come in clutch moments and score an important point, but he's not that guy that will score 25 and 63% of efficiency most part of the matches. So Romano has been heavily criticized by Italian media because opposite is an important position, and after that European Championship, let's say, he hasn't been that good if people remember him from that final. But Piacenza doesn't have backup in that position. Simon, I believe he will start slowly because he underwent a treatment on his back. He have 2 hernias at this moment, so he chose not to have surgery to remove them in order to don't start for a long period. He skipped the national team season and another aspect. Also, Leal is coming up from a knee treatment. and he didn't play the Olympic qualification for Brazil, and it will be a big another interrogation mark to see if this Piacenza can do better than last year. In the recent friendly, Modena, which by any means is a contender this year, beat them 3-6-1. So that's only tell you in what position is this team right now. Because even if it was a friendly match, these kind of matches before the season start give some indication of what you can expect from team to team. So they don't have bench like you mentioned, Recine, and Ringa comes like defense. Let's see, trying to defend the ball in when you are serving. I don't think he will be using as a libero because of the foreigner quota. Maybe he will shows up in the Champions League more, but beside that, I see a thing with a lot of old people and zero answers from the bench. So it will be very very tight season for them.
Next one is Modena, and here, as you can see, I have a lot of question marks, and I would also add another one with Rinaldi, probably the Viskiba, because the Viskiba is also a new signing of Modena. But in terms of, I don't think they will have a problem in terms of Italian citizenship players, because they have the Libero, Sanguinetti, and Contorena, and also Stankovic has an Italian passport. But what is your perception about their starting 6-7?
Why do you put Sanguinetti over Anton Brema? I don't get it, because Stankovic is already Italian. I consider Anton Brema one of the new middle blockers, which like Norbert Huber have the chance to become one of the best. He proved himself in the Olympic qualification tournament, and I think he should be a starter for me. Then you have the diagonal Bruno Shaposhkov. It will be very interesting to see, because if I remember well, Bruno always have difficult to set to tall opposites. When the Bisotto was the opposite in Brazil national team, it's true that he won a world championship, but Bisotto only played for that national team like 4 years before the World 2014 championship. If I remember, he wasn't the starter anymore, and it was often criticized the way that Bruno set to taller players, and Sapochko is like 220 centimeters. So I see what this thing can going if Juan Torena shows up that all magic that he have, which I think he still have. Maybe Modena can be the Milano of the last year. Be there to provoke some noise between the best team. But you have Rinaldi, which is a player that needs to keep improving for the years to come. Bruno is another interrogation point, because he hasn't been that good in the last 2 or 3 seasons. He's already old. He's 36, 37, something like that. And with Brazil has been the same. Many problems. So it is for me the outside hitter and Bruno mostly. You know, the other positions are very well covered. You have your your friend Golini there. So yeah, I think for Modena, if they can hold the door of the outside hitter and Bruno, they have a really good chance to try to qualify for the semifinals, and it's a chance. I don't say they will be in the semifinals, but who knows?
Nicola, can I ask you to say some words about the new head coach of Modena, Francesco Petrella, who is a former, for the last season, former assistant coach in Trento.
Yeah, he has been for the past 3 years, I think, the assistant coach of Lorenzetti in Trento. We have to discover what kind of volleyball will ask its player to play in Modena, but we could guess that it will be not that difference. The difference from the volleyball that Lorenzetti played in Trento. He knows the environment because he already worked in Modena during his experience. And is young, he will have to deal with some young players, but also with some, how can I say, veterans of this game. But he has Lorenzetti in Perugia. He also will have the entire week to train the team for the next game, because this year Modena will not participate in the European competitions either. So if Bruno, Guantorenia, and Stankovic, that are 3 of the 5 oldest players playing this season in Italy, will keep up, and they will not be too much, we're going to say, tired to the end of the season. I also think that Modena could have something to say for the top 4 on the semifinals in the playoff. I expect Rinaldi to have his breakout season, because last year was the first year as a starter in a top team. He played decent, in my opinion, played pretty well. And this year he has to step up. And also because we'll have to gain a spot for, hopefully, the Italian team in the Olympics. So he will have to show his true colors this season.
Next team is Verona. Verona is a very interesting team because they've changed not only some of the players but also some of the position of the players. For example, Sapushkov was the starter opposite last season. Now Keita will play as an opposite. He played mostly as an outside hitter and as an opposite only when Sapushkov was injured. They took Donovan Javornok from the team of Trento. And the question mark here, it's very big one for me, of again, just like the season before with the Italian players who will play. Because they have a new setter also, Nikola Jovic, former starter for the Serbian national team. But they also kept Lucas Purito, so they can play Italian in the setter position. They have Mosca and Cortesia, Italian international players, as middle blockers, but they have also the Bulgarian Alex Grozdanov. So I put the team in this way with D'Amico, Mosca, and Cortesia as the middle blockers, and taking into account that in the outside hitter position, including the opposite, they don't have an Italian player, or at least they don't have a player who will play a lot, at least in my perception, because they have also an Iranian player as an opposite. They have some young players, and also the French player of a Bulgarian descent, Axel Truchchev, who is a reigning champion of Bulgaria with Neftochimik. But they don't have Italian outside hitters. So they will either play with two middle blockers, Italian and D'Amico, or they will play with Spirito and Alex Grozdanov in one of the middle blockers position. I don't see another possibility here. Do you see another one?
No, I mean, but I don't. I think that Spirito will start over Jovovic at least at the beginning of the season for the same reason you just said, because I'm not that sure that Mosca and Cortesia will be the starting duo in the middle, considering how Grozdanov could perform in this team. Both liberos are Italian, because D'Amico and this backup Bonisoli are too young as an Italian libero, so they will not change. But it's 50-50 to me whether Jovovic or Spirito will determine if not Grozdanov will play in the middle. On the other position, let's see if Zavornok could bounce back from last season, because didn't work at all in Trento. I hope he will be the player we've seen in Monza for the past 5 seasons, because he's a great addition to this team. We will have the mission to qualify for the semifinals for the first time in history. He keep going so close to this goal, but these years will be difficult to me, because last year Keita played pretty well, but it was a kind of a surprise for the championship. This year they know it better. It's a great thing that they take him away from the receiving job, because it was not his best skill. But let's see how things will work for this new team.
Ronnie?
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to this team. They basically have Rokmosic as the franchise player. Then they have Keita. He had a back injury, I think, before the season. During the preseason, he have to make a surgical procedure, something like that. It wasn't too much, but it's a thing to have in mind. The other things are the same. The problem with Verona volley has always been the setter position. You mentioned it years ago that you wasn't a fan of Spiritu play. Then you have this Serbian player coming up. I don't think he will be the answer either. But well, you have to trust that Stoichev knows something that we don't know. And with that being said, this is a team, of course, that will struggle with the foreigner players. And for me, leaving Grosdano in the bench is a bad thing to do, especially because of the quality of Grozanov. So yeah, let's see. Like Nicola mentioned it, is Donovan Savornok have another season like he used to have in Monza. Obviously, the Trentino experiment didn't go well for him. But I'm a person who believes in second chances. Maybe he's not destined to play in a big club in Italy, but he can do some damage in a medium tier club like Verona Volley, and see if next season if this season goes well for him, maybe who knows, seeing Savornok in the Polish Championship, one of the best team I don't know. I believe after the Trentino, I will not say fiasco because he didn't have too much opportunity, especially with Lavia and Micheletto in front of him. But he might be being he might be considering to go to another league to try uh, his luck in a contender team. So yeah, well, he was Italian championship last year. He didn't play, but at least he got that for his resume. So yeah, for me, best eight playoff team with no doubt. Apart from that, is up to them. I will not make any conclusion because, like Modena, they have to prove that they deserve to be in the top four during the season.
Okay, next team is Monza. Here we have another team that is looks okay. They have some changes from last season. Like, for example, Fernando was there, but he was injured most of the time. They have Ran Takahashi as a new signing. The middle blockers are the same. Gagini is coming from Monza, and Mar and Schwartz are there from last season too. Uh, do you think that they can get to the playoffs?
Definitely. Yeah, they've got I think, a very good group of outside hitters because they also have Lawani and Lopki.
Yeah,
And
coming
the
from
big,
Padua.
yeah, Taranto last year, maybe.
Yeah, Tarantino and Takahashi is coming from Padua. Yeah.
The biggest question mark is if Svark has fully recovered from his injury and will be the same we used to see in Cisterna a couple of seasons ago. But they also have the Chev Challenge Cup to play. So I think that in the top 8 they could easily go. I don't see any of the other 4 teams remaining taking away a spot from them. That's mostly the reason.
Ronnie?
Well, very interesting team too, like Verona, like Modena. I think this year the medium part of the table, medium high, I would say, will be very disputed. And this is a team that again can beat teams like Piacenza if they are shaking. Lubecin Vitanov, of course, and because we all saw the summer that Artur Schwartz had, especially the second part of the summer. He has been key, but I believe after 2 or 3 matches, the other teams will know how to, let's say, slow him down because he is still a player that he is coming from another position, and you need time and experience to overcome all your um, uh, lack of experience. Let's put it that way in becoming a player who attack mostly in position 2. So he has a good parallel side out. Maybe sometimes he use the diagonal mass, but mostly he likes to attack in the line. About Takahashi, you know, being Japanese right now is a good thing. They are popular. They are in the Olympics. Takahashi was one of the key members of that qualification process, alongside with Stephen Mann, which is another outside hitter composition. Like he's not the killer. He's more like a composition player. He can do very technical stuff. But Takahashi will have to be the killer in that position. You also have Eddie Lepke, which is another good Canadian talent. And yeah, Galassi, Thomas Berreta. Let's see if Fernando Cachopa can deliver this year. He unfortunately injured it in preseason last year, which was a huge blow for this organization. And yeah, um, top top eight without a doubt. They have playoff material to be there, and of course to make noise. Of course, this we only say that only in theory, but the reality will we will know after 10 games. Let's see if they can hold up all this hype, you know. So so far they, like I mentioned before, they have a friendly with versus Milano. They lose 3 sets to zero, I think. But you know, players coming out from national team season, I will not take into account that game, especially because Porro and no, no, Porro is injured, right? Because he had to go to some hand injury, something. Well, Matej Kaczynski was in the national team, so he had more time to adapt and, of course, be important in that game. Yeah, for me, top eight.
Okay, Cisterna is next. And Cisterna, in my opinion, looks a bit too shaky. I I was very surprised to see the squad because mm, I don't know, they don't have the quality you can expect from a team like Cisterna because in principle they have better players. And now with Pavle Peric, who is very limited, especially in reception, I think. With Efe, who was injured during the summer, as long as I remember. With okay, Mazzone is a player who is a standard player in the Italian league, but not something magical. And Nedeljkovic, who is a Serbian international, but with 26 years of age, he's not a player who we can see like in this age. A lot of another players were already short. They can perform very good, very well. So Theo four in the opposite position. Let's say in this way that I don't see them in the league this year. What do you think?
Um, Everything changed in Cisterna. They changed the name of the team. They changed the coach. They changed the starting diagonal, setter opposite. So it will be how can I say, up to the players, up to the how badly they want to stay in the Superlega, because there are too many question marks on this team, in my opinion. They have international players, as you point out, Favre, Nedeljkovic, Mazzone, Bayram, but they need to play consistently every game, and especially those games that will matter for the for not to be relegated. And then talking about the games against Padova, against Taranto, against Catania. I don't think they will steal a lot of points from the top 8 teams. Maybe at home, if they perform or overperform, because even if you look at the, let's say, serving power of this team, it's not that big. It's not like they can rack up points with just pure strength from the service line. So it will be a tough seasons for them, and I would be pretty, I would say, curious to see how Falaska could line up this team. Falaska, if I'm not wrong, won the Challenge Cup last year with with Olympiacos. No,
Not sure. I will check in order to, because this is Guillermo Falasca, the brother of Miguel. May his soul, rest in peace.
no, Giuliani won. Was
Oh,
the
Giuliani Falasca
Olympiacos?
was the head coach of. Let's check up. Sorry, he was in Narbonne.
Yeah, so he
And-
won the one of the couple. The chef, no,
Challenge, no, I think.
But what?
yeah, the Challenge Cup Narbonne won last year
Yeah.
or 2 years ago. I don't remember.
I believe it was 2 years ago, but I'm not following the Challenger Cup. Honestly, that
Yeah, no, I remember that
Yes,
it's kind of pedigree.
no.
2 years ago. 2 years ago in Narbonne won the
So
competition.
you are right that he won the Challenger Cup. It was not just the last year; it was some years ago. But he won it.
Yeah, but my point was that is a coach that has international experience and knows how to lead a team to the final goal. So let's see if he can do it in Cisterna, and the final goal is to be in the Serie A next season too. I don't see them fighting for a spot in the playoff, but sport
Actually,
is
it was last
unpredictable.
year. It was
Sorry?
last year. 21-22 season. Narbonne won the. Narbonne
Yeah,
with Guillermo Falasca at the bench won the Challenge Cup. So that's fine. Ronnie.
Well, guys, I don't have too many things to add to this pile of players that have been, like, some of them, like Saita, had been in the league for more than 15 years, and then you have another talent with, like, Efe Bayram, who is always injured. Of course, Mazzone with Nedeljkovic. I mean, they will try to survive. Let's put it that way. Last year, Soli Cisterna was one of the best team in the first round of the league. They have some outstanding victories over big teams, but at the end of the regular season, they fell off. They didn't qualify for a little. But this is a completely team. I think Cisterna or Top Volley, whatever, people wants to see how far they can go with this project in the city. They didn't invest so much this summer, but like the last season, there was players who impressed and were a surprise, like Dirlich, of course, and Febayran was also pretty good when he was healthy, and the other outside hitter who is no longer in Serie A, I believe is what the name of the Croatian, I believe.
Sedlacek.
Exactly. So those three were key, of course. From time to time, from the bench, Miguel Gutierrez Jose Miguel Gutierrez come to help. And well, this year, not so much. Also, I believe last year they have Michele Baranovic, and this year they have Saita, which for many people is one of the not so not so good setter. Very criticized over the years in all his teams. So yeah, another season to prove wrong to the people, and he only will prove wrong if Cisterna don't lose the Serie A category, which is a very hard task to accomplish. Let's see if the team holds to the end of the season. But for me, they are not a playoff team.
Okay, next one is Padova. Let's go to the last three because it's a little bit
Yeah.
it's late. Padova, we have Alaski, Desmet, Corsato, Plak, Gardini, Gabi Garcia, new signing, and Zenger, the libero, who was there also the last season. They have a new setter. They have a new opposite, and the other players, Plak is also a new signing, I think.
Yeah.
What do you think here? I would say it's a little bit better looks a little bit better than Cisterna.
Yeah, I think because of the experience of some players and the age, this come from the chance to see if Gabi Garcia can finally be a strong house in the Serie A. For me, very particularly, this is his last chance to prove big teams that he belongs to this championship. As far as I know, he had a son with an Italian woman born last year, so he will try to stay in Italy. Maybe he if he doesn't stay, he want to be close. So, but going from Civitanova to Padua is a big downgrade. Of course, he will have again the chance to play alongside Gardini. We can remember this duo from the BYU years when they played together. It was very successful, although they didn't win the national championship. But luck is you know what. And then you have Sebastian Plak. Plak, the brother of Celeste, playing his first time in Italian Serie A, will be a very interesting player to follow. He's not that tall, but he has very sense. He has very good lecture. So very interesting. I'm very interested to see what he can bring. Then, of course, Desmet and Gardini will be the outside hitter. My question is, can Gardini play at least 15%? I don't say 50. I say 15% like his father. Okay, 5%. But very,
in a different position. Yeah.
Of course, but you know what I mean. So can he become something better than that guy who only plays because he is Italian? That's my question. So because if we look all the teams, it's very rare to see an outside hitter, an Italian outside hitting playing. He's one of those few wonders that get that spot. Alongside, of course, you cannot mention Trentino. And I consider, inside of me, I consider Juan Torena a Cuban. So it's very hard to see outside hitter play. Of course, Rinaldi. You have big wonder kid. Maybe not Lanza in
Okay. By the way, Zenger is the only non-Italian libero, I think, starting libero.
Yeah.
Or probably any libero.
They've got a Japanese backup, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
damn. So if we compare this team with Cisterna, we can see probably an improvement. But like Cisterna, they will have the foreigner problem. They don't have Italian libero, which always come handy in this situation. And the middle is not that something you can say, okay, they will hold. We will have to see if Gabi Garcia will be the key of this team. If he doesn't show up, they are doomed completely. I expect this team to win at least 4 games to 5 games. Maybe I'm very optimistic in the entire season, but they for sure be one of those teams we will be fighting for relegation uh, next year.
Okay, the penultimate team is Taranto, and we'll finish it now with the new team of Catania. But Taranto looks also, I don't know how to call it. It's one of the 4 teams that will be not in the playoffs and will be fighting for staying up. With Trinidad de Jaro, I know this player from being in Poland. Lanza is a typical traditional name in the Italian league with Aimone Aletti, Rizzo, Raffaeli, Gendrik. I'm not sure he has played until now in Italy. I don't think so. And
No.
Lorenzo Sawa coming from Modena as an opposite for Taranto. A lot of changes here. And also Vincenzo Mastrangelo as the head coach.
Yeah, another graphic that I don't think is correct. I think Kyle Russell will be the starting opposite coming from the United States, and
Thinking about it, but yeah.
instead of Raffaelli, we will see John Jose Miguel Gutierrez starting. He among the Cubans have one of the best passing, which is rare, but I think Coach Mastrangelo won it because of how, let's say, versatile or something like that he can be. But yeah, I think this team is better than Padova and Cisterna in theory. My question is how fast Trinidad de Jaro can
Adapt.
adapt to this environment. What can we expect about first Gutierrez, because I will be very autocritic about a player of my country, and Lanza, because they are not taller oxide hitters, and that can be a liability in block defense. So of course the Trojan horse will be Kyle Russell. If he comes good, he can make an impact. If he comes back, well, because he has also a strong serve. The middle is very covered. Jendrik is an experienced player. He's 28, 27 right now. Comes from the Polish Championship, which is a very good tournament. And yeah, the veteran Simone Aletti. This is a very compact team. They don't have any bench. Maybe Sala, of course, for Kyle Russell, and Raffaelli, of course, who have been around too many years without very good memories of one of them. So, well, he was in that team who won the Challenge Cup years ago with this team, Ravenna. So, after that, another team that will fight relegation, maybe try to get the 8th seed in the playoff, but it will be very, very hard, especially because they have too much new players coming up to this league.
Nicola, something to add?
Yeah, I also see them slightly better than the 2 teams we've previously seen. For the past 2 years, I give some hope to Taranto because of the coach, because I also always thought that Vincenzo Di Pinto is one of these coaches that could take out the best of any team fighting not to be relegated. Mastrangelo already coached in Taranto, so he knows the environment and he knows how to deal with all the problematics that will emerge during the year. I also think that how quick Trinidad will adapt to the Superlega will be a key. He has already been there in Italy. 10 years ago, he was the backup of Steuerwald in Vibo. He didn't play a lot, but he gained a lot of experience in the past 10 years. So let's see. I got good vibes about Taranto when it comes out not to be relegated.
Okay, and the last team are the newcomers from Catania. And in my opinion, this looks as a better team, at least than Cisterna and even Padova. Okay, for Padova is I'm a little bit hesitant to say it, but from Cisterna for sure better. I like Orduna a lot as a setter. We have Randazzo and Luca Basic who played for Piacenza and Bossi.
Milano.
Yeah. Also, yeah, and Nemanja Masuvic, I like him better than his counterpart from a teammate from Serbian national team, Nedeljkovic. And Buchegger is also interesting. Austrian, I think.
Yeah.
Austrian opposite. So, and Cavaccini is okay libero. So I believe they can fight surely for staying up.
Yeah, the diagonal Orduna Buchegger last year in Vibo was very good. So they already know each other. They know each other from the Ravenna years, and then in Monza. So it's a pretty solid connection. Randazzo is one of these players like Raffaelli, who has been along forever, and he will definitely give his contribution to the team. I have also good feeling from this team that 10 days ago didn't have that the coach, because it was Valdo Cantor the one at the beginning. Yeah. Just I think it's around the 10th of October they changed the coach. We don't have to forget that this team wasn't supposed to be in the Superlega. Yeah. Because the team that won the Serie 2 last season was, in fact, Vibo Valencia. Basically, was a team that was selected by the Superlega to be in the Superlega, so they have to make a team with what was on the market at the time that have been guaranteed a spot. So for the time they had, and for the opportunities they had, I think there's a pretty solid squad. I like Cavaccini. For me, it's one of the most underrated libero in Italy. So I see them slightly better than Cisterna and Padova too.
Yeah.
For ending this podcast, it's like the third season overall, the fourth season that Buchegger will play with Orduna. Most probably because of that they won. They have moderate success. They won Challenge Cup. They won the second division last year. This is not the Buchegger that I expected to see after the 2017 season. Unfortunately, he has been severely injured along after that stint with Ravenna. He had 2 surgeries in his 2 knees and playing for the national team, and he has been very unfortunate player. But another team to look up. They won recently a friendly tournament against Polish team. They won 3-0 versus Jablonski Wiggle, of course, without all the assets, and then beat Luke Lublin in the final, again without all the assets. but it will be a team that will try to stay. At least that's the main goal. Sometimes those teams can play without the pressure, of the owners or the coaches to, okay, we lose, we will try next, because as you mentioned, Nicola, this is a team that it wasn't supposed to be here. So but for Mr. Calipo once again to play the second division, and then, you know what, I'm quitting this. I'm quitting this volleyball thing. But it is what it is. Nothing is perfect. Yeah, Catania. I hope you hold your position till the end, and let's see what's gonna happen.
It has been a very long podcast. We are over an hour and a half, but let's end with predictions. So our predictions, let's say it in this way: which team will be relegated, which will be the teams in top 4, and who will be the champion. Let's that way.
Relegation for me is Trentino. I want to see Nicola watching 8 Edue matches.
Against Mantova and Corigliano, these teams.
No, but for me, relegated Cisterna.
Cisterna?
Yeah, for many reasons.
Cisterna. So
sorry.
We are anonymous for this prediction, I think.
And top 4, say Perugia, Trentino, Lube, and Milan.
Nicola?
I'll see the same 4 teams, but not Milan and Piacenza. So Trentino, Perugia, Lube, Piacenza will be my 4.
Perugia.
And your relegation? Cisterna.
Third between Cisterna and Padova, but I think that Padova is the youngest team ever. So they probably just thinking about next season. So that's why I'm not so completely sure about Cisterna, but they look the favorite. Let's say if you can be a favorite to be relegated,
I would say Perugia, Trentino. Perugia, Trentino, Milano, and I will try with a surprise with Verona here.
Lube and Modena out of the top 4.
Yeah. And who will be the champion?
Perugia. This year, I think. Let's see. It will depend in the crucial months, March, when Gino Chirsi step up into the main into the locker room to say hello. We will see if they don't feel the pressure.
But without the Champions League to play and any European competition to play, they get a bit advantage.
I don't know, but I will try with Milano. I don't know why. Yes. Let's be a risky player, because we don't have anything to lose. So why not?
We don't bet.
We don't bet anything. So what's the problem? Almost no one remembers what we predicted the last time. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but predictions. I'll just that predictions. You cannot. You don't have the power to okay, that will happen. Because if that were the case, everyone here, the 3 of us, will be rich at this point. No?
We are not.
We will buy Perugia from Stirci if we do the prediction right.
Okay, guys, that was for this evening. Thanks for everybody watching. At the end of the podcast, if it was So yeah, you're great if you watch us for the whole hour and a half and even more than that. So thank you for watching us. Watch us also the next time, and yeah, see you. Bye.
Bye.